He will tell you today even that free flight is way too hard for the average person. It's too complicated. It's way too difficult. He's not lying. If you approach it the way he approaches it, it is too hard. It is very complicated. But when you learn how nature does it, work with nature's system, all of a sudden it gets really, really easy. Because nature's doing most of the work. We're not trying to do it all with consequences. We're not trying to do it all with our clicker. The clicker is useful. Clicker is very important. And it's important you understand how to use that, but also recognize it's important to understand when the clicker is not the right tool for training the task. There are times that you can't use a clicker to train the behavior that you want to train. Think about training a child to ride a bicycle. Turn the handlebars left, right, keep your balance, turn it left, yeah, click, good job. Which was the right direction? I don't know. How can I know? I don't have the balance. I'm not on the bicycle. Okay? I can't teach a child to ride a bicycle with a clicker because I don't know which direction to turn the handlebars. I don't know where the balance point is. Okay? When we understand that there are certain things we can't teach with this because we don't have enough information, it's not possible. When we learn how nature's teaching those behaviors, we can use that instead of this. This is very valuable. I will tell you, you want to use this. When I use my clicker for things I can use my clicker training on, my training goes at least 4 times as fast. This is very valuable. But it is not appropriate for everything that we're going to teach. Okay, we need to understand that, which is something most professional animal trainers haven't got in their head. All right, anyway. Okay, well, let's look at history. Okay, this is a picture of me when I was in college, riding around with a blue and gold macaw on my shoulder on an 1100 Honda motorcycle. I got my very first Parrot in 1986 when I got out of the United States Army. I used to jump out of airplanes. And my time in the Army ended. I went to visit my sister in Norfolk, Virginia, and her boyfriend had a little cherry-headed conure, nasty little guy, bite the heck out of you, named Chester. And I took it as a challenge that Chester and I were going to become friends. So a couple weeks of chasing him around the house together, we were riding around town, going to the beach together, and so they gave him to me. Up to that point in my life, I had never thought of a bird as a pet, never entered my head ever. But I fell in love with Chester. I mean, he was the most amazing little animal I'd ever been around. I'd had dogs and cats my whole life, but I was just totally blown away by this little bird. We were inseparable for 6 months, and then I lost him on a road trip. Classic newbie, idiot, did dumb things, not committed like I should have been, didn't realize, hadn't yet learned that this wonderful thing that was so important to me could be lost. Just really hadn't made that connection yet. And I did lose him. And I let my little brother convince me we didn't have time to search for him, so after 2 hours, we drove away. And I, of course, never got him back. And I know I killed him by doing that, because he partial clipped wings, where I lost him, there's no way he survived that. And I've had to live with that. That's a bitter pill. It's a bitter lesson to learn and to live with that. And I've made those kind of mistakes. I will tell you about more of those kind of mistakes. I make mistakes. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I don't like making mistakes, but I'm not afraid of mistakes. Because you learn from those mistakes. And hopefully, the mistakes that I have made will help you make less of those same mistakes. Okay? And this is another one of those problems with some of these new people out there that think they got it because they've trained one bird. They haven't made some of the mistakes that teach you those painful lessons that we're going to try to pass on to you here. Okay. Anyway, in about 2 years later, I bought a blue and gold macaw named Jeremy and started messing around with Jeremy on the motorcycle, riding up and down the street in front of the house. Just, you know, not really riding with him, just giving him a chance to ride on my shoulder and see what this was like. She liked it. Next thing you know, we're riding around town together. You might say he hasn't learned his lesson yet. Well, we did okay. We never had any trouble. We did this for 4 years. People would see me riding around town. They would track me down to college. I was going to Walla Walla College studying electrical engineering. And wanted me to go to their kindergartens and daycares and nursing homes, which I was doing. And then it hit the front page of the local newspaper. Kind of got out of control. I had people calling me from 100 miles around. It was insane. But I recognized that the public had an interest in these animals. They really wanted to know about them, and they enjoyed meeting them and holding them and this kind of thing. So I was doing these. I was going to the nursing homes and schools and stuff. But I began experimenting in ways to make it pay for itself, because it was costing me money, taking money out of my pocket. And as an engineering student, I didn't have much time. I didn't have much money. I was a starving college bum, living on like $500 a month. Anyway, so I did some experimenting, and I started doing photos with people with a Polaroid camera. Made like $60 in the rain, first day out. Ooh, I'm into money. $60 in the rain. Next weekend I made $100. Oh my God, I got something cool here. So anyway, I booked myself at some county fairs, carnival type things, and I did photos with people. I paid them to be there. And I made a little bit of money, not a lot. The last show I did was in my hometown where I was going to college. And so I put on my cheesy pirate outfit. I had taken a fencing class as one of my college electives. And so Halloween came along while I was taking this class. So I made myself a pirate outfit. I had a sword for fencing, right? And I had a parrot. So obviously I had to go to my fencing class on Halloween as a pirate. Well, I made $100 that night at a Halloween costume party, because I was the pirate with the real parrot, so I got $100 out of that. Anyway, when it came to doing the photos, I had this pirate outfit. So I put that on, doubled the money I was making. Instead of $250 a day, I was making $500 a day. Ooh, that was only 5 days, so it's not huge money, but still, 5 days at double the money, that's better. I had also learned that the fairs, that I didn't necessarily have to pay them, they hire entertainers and pay the entertainer to be there. Which means they would pay me to be there. They wouldn't pay Chris to be there, but they would pay the pirate to be there. Ooh. Now I'm getting paid $900 a day, and I get to keep the $500 in photos. Ooh, I'm in it. Well, I did this for about 4 years, quit college, became a full-time pirate in 1993. And ever since then, this is how I made a living, doing parrot shows. This is my office. It's a pirate ship. I have a pirate ship that I carry around everywhere I go. I'm doing shows every weekend. This big pirate ship, I have to set it up, tear it down. 10 hours to set it up, 8 hours to tear it down. Anyway, it's been a fun way to make a living. What it has also done, it has freed me from the standard way animal trainers learn about behavior. You see, I don't work for somebody else. I work for me. And if my show doesn't work, if the animals don't do what they're supposed to do, I pay for it. Compared to most professional animal trainers, they work for somebody else. They work for the zoo, or they work for a theme park. So, what do you think the zoo administrator is going to say? Because they don't own their birds, right? The zoo owns the birds, not the trainer. And the trainer's kind of low level, doesn't get paid a lot. I mean, they're very dedicated. They love their animals. They're in it because they're passionate. They're not in it for the money, that's for sure. Because there ain't a lot of money in animal training that way. So they're there. They're good-hearted people, but they don't own their animals. That's a very important thing. Because what do you think the zoo administrator is going to say when the animal trainer says, hey, boss, we're going to take the birds up into the mountains and fly them around this weekend? Oh, hell no. No, you're not. Well, if they can't do that, then how does the bird ever learn navigation skills? How do they learn all these things that keeps them from getting lost? They don't. Instead, the animal trainer has to rely very heavily on keeping the animal hungry and teaching rigid recall response. If you listen to professional animal trainers, they will tell you the single biggest, most important thing is recall. Recall, recall, recall. Train that recall, got to have a solid recall. Well, a solid recall is very important when you first start. It is. But later, that solid recall becomes a liability. It's actually a problem. They don't even understand that. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Okay, but the problem there is they're never allowed to explore new things and try new things and make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, because they're not their animals. Very few professional animal trainers own their own animals and do their own shows. There's not very many of us out there. That has freed me and allowed me a freedom to explore and do things that most professional animal trainers never get to do. I consider that a great privilege and benefit to me in my career and what I do. Okay,